Now that the instance is launched, we can pick up the public DNS name of the instance, EC2-5488, and we can just verify that this is the instance that we want to connect to. I'm going to fire up my virtual machine here to make sure that everything's fine and working. Typically, the command to connect to this SSH instance is using the SSH command, and then we'll specify a key file using the I switch. So let's say 15319demo.pem. That's the same file that you downloaded from Amazon earlier. And now we need to specify the username. For Amazon Linux instances, it will typically be EC2-user and then provide the DNS name of the instance. So let's just paste that into the command line over here and hit enter. Now, as you can see, there was an issue with your key file, and this can typically happen when you download it off the internet. And the issue is that the key file has the wrong permissions. The key file's permissions are too open. The SSH client, as a matter of security, is not going to let you connect to the instance using this key file. So let's look at the permissions for this key file. You can either do this by ls-l, the name of the file. So as you can see, the permissions are read-write for the user, read-write for the group, and read for others. And this is a big no-no for the SSH client. It requires that this key file should not be, no other user should be able to alter this key file. So we can use the Unix chmod command and say 600 to allow read-write for the user and no permissions for others in the group or others on this machine. For more information on how to use the chmod command, I would suggest that you read the man page for the chmod command. So let's hit that and let's check the permissions for 15319 demo. It should be okay now. Let's try connecting to this instance again. And there you go. Now we have established an SSH connection to this instance, and we are now inside the instance. And in fact, the EC2-user is a username used for Linux AMIs. And if you would like to perform any root actions, or if you even want to switch to the root user, all you need to do is type in sudo. Alright, so now we have successfully connected to this instance and we can run any command. So ls, for example, you can type in uname -a if you want to see information about the Linux version that's running on this instance. You're now free to install any kind of software that you want. So you could do a sudo yum install, since the Linux AMI is based off of either Fedora or CentOS. If you have an Ubuntu instance, you can type in sudo apt-get install to install any software packages on your instance. Alright, so this is just the basics of how to connect to an instance on the Linux machine. In the next section, we will see how to do the same operation from a Windows machine. Now, to connect to an EC2 instance using a Windows machine, it's a little more complicated. You'll need to get a software application package called PuTTY, and along with PuTTY, you should also get something called the PuTTY key generator, since the format that PuTTY uses for storing these key pairs is very different from the PEM file that you typically get from Amazon. So let's go, after these are installed, let's go first to the PuTTY key generator and let's load an existing key pair. So I'm just going to go and select the existing key pair, and now we have the public key information from this key pair. Now what you're going to, just going to save the private key without a passphrase and just say that it's okay, no problem, and then we'll save it as a ppk file .ppk. This is going to be a PuTTY private key file. Save, and now this private key has been saved, so we can close the PuTTY key generator. And now we can actually use the PuTTY SSH client to connect to this instance. Now to connect to the instance, let's first copy the DNS name of the instance and we'll put it into PuTTY. Also, we need to mention what the key file is to connect to this instance. So let's open up SSH and let's look at authentication and say that we have a private key to authenticate. So let's select the authentication file, the private key file for authentication. That's now in. Just verify the host name and then click on OK. PuTTY might show you a message saying that, hey, we are connecting to this instance for the first time. Do you want to save the key in for future use? Well, that's fine, you can do that. Finally, let's enter the same username, which is EC2-user, since this is an Amazon instance. For Ubuntu instance, it's just going to be, the username is just going to be Ubuntu. And now we are connected to the instance. Just like before, you could look through all of the files. If there are any in the home directory, you can do uname -a if you want to see information about the Linux version that's running on the instance. Alright, and that's that for instance connectivity on Windows. I would like to mention one more thing. Many users find PuTTY to be too basic for their use in Windows, since it's difficult to manage multiple SSH sessions, especially if you have multiple instances running at the same time. So I would recommend downloading another utility called Xshell. In fact, I should be able to launch a version of Xshell right here. So think of this as an advanced version of PuTTY in which you can save SSH sessions, and you can have tabbed SSH sessions, much like Firefox or Chrome. It's very useful, especially if you'd like to cut and paste information from the terminal. I would highly recommend using this program, and it's free for home school use, so you can just find it online at their website and download Xshell if you would like to have an easier way to manage your instances. Alright, and that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed watching it, and hope you have fun launching instances and playing around with them for the various projects in this course. See you.